Hello there. Just gone by is the NDC press conference that was just ended. They're raising concerns about the Ghana card registration, which they believe are meant to give the incumbent NPP administration undue advantage in the upcoming elections. We'll be getting more of that subsequently. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. Our top stories this hour. High government delegation heads to Obuasi, epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in the Ashanti region, as the cases continue to surge there and authorities contemplate a lockdown or curfew to stop the spread. We're live once again on the ground in the mining town of Obuasi. And Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority leaps in efficiency as it attains the World Health Organization's approval rate of level 3. What does this even mean for the country? Let's find out together ahead in the show. Also coming up, the Accra Tema motorway interchange almost set for use. Well, if you were born in Tema like myself, or you live there, or you use the motorway, let me hear your thoughts on it. We are live on the ground this afternoon to check out what is left for it to be complete. Those are top stories this hour. Join us on DSTV 421, GoTV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube. Join us with your thoughts on 0540-109009. I'm Gifty Andopia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. I'll take you through the details of those stories now. Now, government is urging strict adherence to containment measures on the fight against COVID-19, with emphasis on wearing of masks. Addressing the latest press briefing on the country's situation, Health Minister Kweku Agyeman seemed worried about the attitude of Ghanaians towards the pandemic, calling for a change. He is also warning COVID-19 might never go away at all, but it can be kept at bay if people adhere to the approved preventive measures.
HIV/AIDS came, we have never been able to take it off, we still live with it. H1N1 is still around, we live with it. There are several other diseases that we live with. Non-communicable diseases, they don't get spreading and they are not infectious. But when you get it, you live with it. And the word that we all use is managing to live with the disease. So if you are diabetic, they will ask you to take some medications depending on your body chemistry, some milligrams once a day or twice a day. In some instances, you have to inject insulin into your body. That is how you live with diabetes. Hypertension, we live with it. So now the fact is, coronavirus has been with us, so they call this one novel, new. And for the past 3 or 4 months, the world is living with it. The impact is severe, very, very severe elsewhere, because people are dying in numbers. Here in our country, we are now seeing community spread, but we are not dying. Dr. Badu Sarkodie will come and give you numbers again. Our death rate is quite low. That does not mean that we should allow ourselves to be infected with the disease. So what we have to do now is to live with it and manage ourselves against it. So what should we do? So far, there is no medication that we can take. There is no vaccine that we can actually get to vaccinate ourselves against the virus. But there are certain things that we know we can do to protect ourselves. One of them is what I'm wearing. So we are managing to reduce the spread. We will have to find a way to ensure that the numbers don't go up, but they begin to come down and come down and come down. So many of us are talking unnecessarily. And if you are infected, you open your mouth and the virus comes out. So again, if you don't need to talk, don't talk. Especially when you don't have the mask. They are telling us that we shouldn't even laugh, especially when you don't have the mask.
As your health minister, an obviously worried one. While Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah is warning the country's increasing case count should be seen as a cause for worry and should compel people to keep themselves protected.
On Tuesday, when we gave an update, one of the major hotspots was the Ashanti region, and specifically Obuasi, where we had recorded about 200 new cases or 270 or so new cases around that particular area. This morning, there's a team from the Ghana Health Service that is in Kumasi heading to Obuasi to step up the containment efforts there. If technology does not fail us, we'll try to connect to them in Kumasi for them to give us a quick update on what they are seeking to do out there. We also have a quick update. Close of business last night around 11 p.m. and the numbers that are available, Dr. Bedusa Akodie would share those with us. But first, the minister responsible for health has an advisory on community spread. The numbers, as you are seeing, should give you cause for concern, and he has an advisory on community spread, which he will share with us.
Minister for Information Kojo Nkrumah there. In the meantime, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Abuaji, and his team have been meeting with the COVID-19 task force in Obuasi in the Ashanti region. Ohime Interior of our health desk has been monitoring that meeting. Ohime joins me live from Obuasi Municipal Assembly. Hello, Ohime.
Hello, Gifty.
It's good to come to you once again. Now tell us what the government delegation has been up to in Obuasi today.
Thank you, Gifty. I must say it's been a very tedious exercise for the Ghana Health Service team that came from Accra. On the team, as you mentioned, is led by Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Abuaji, and also Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwe, Director in charge of surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, and other officers. It also includes Ashanti Regional Health Director, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkran, and his deputy in charge of public health, Dr. Nana Ofori, also on the delegation. I must say, right from the onset in the morning, the team has been meeting with the COVID-19 task force in Obuasi, and it's been a closed-door meeting. Journalists were not allowed entry, only those who were involved in the management of COVID-19 in Obuasi were allowed into the meeting. And after the meeting, the team has also moved in to meet the Obuasi Municipal Chief Executive Elijah Adansibona, also in a closed-door meeting. So as we speak currently, we are reaching you from the Obuasi Municipal Assembly, and the meeting is still ongoing. According to the officers, they can only brief us after meeting the officers in charge, especially the COVID-19 task force and the municipal chief executives. I'm told the district chief executive for Obuasi East, Faustina Amisa, and other officers from the Obuasi East district are also in the meeting as well. So it's a meeting between Ghana Health Service officials and officers or officials of the two district assemblies here in the Obuasi.
And for the people in Obuasi, some of them who have called for a lockdown or a curfew, some of them who obviously don't agree, some of them who have problems with siting of an isolation center there, how do they receive this visit from Accra?
It's actually an unannounced visit. Many of the residents are not aware of this ongoing deliberation between the Ghana Health Service team and the local officials here. But when I hit the community and spoke to a couple of them, they did indicate that now they are having a change of mindset. Initially, some of them had demanded that they will only believe the prevalence of COVID-19 in Obuasi only when they see some of the patients who have contracted the virus amongst them. And some have also agitated that it's maybe a ploy by politicians to what they describe as a move to squander the country's resources. But now they have a change of mind, especially starting from today. The COVID-19 task force has been on the ground enforcing every protocol. For instance, the wearing of nose mask has been is mandatory now in Obuasi. When you are entering Obuasi, you must come in your nose mask. Other than that, the COVID-19 task force will not allow you entry to the Obuasi township. Those coming from Obuasi, from Kumasi to Obuasi, there's a team on that particular stretch, and then those coming from Dunkwao stretch to Obuasi, there's also another team there. It's made up of nurses and then police officers who are doing everything possible to enforce this protocol. They take the temperature of people who enter the Obuasi community and also ensure that they are on nose mask. And every bit of the protocol, especially social distancing, where vehicles will be searched and ensure that passengers are not above the approved one. So I must say, yes, the COVID-19 task force has been on the ground today, and those part of the team has also been in the Obuasi Central Market as traders resume trading activities in the market.
Ohemi, thank you. We'll be keeping an eye on development at your end. And when that meeting is over, we're sure, if we're still here, we're sure to get back to you so we get the details. Thank you. Ohemi Interior of our health desk reporting live from Obuasi, where a high-powered government delegation is meeting with authorities there to find out how they can stop the spread of the disease, which is surging rather too fast over there. Now I'll take you back to the press conference today. Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedusa Kodie, here with a breakdown of the latest confirmed cases.
At last briefing, the new cases confirmed that added to what we reported 122, with the distributions in Greater Accra 57, Ashanti Region 62, Central Region 2, and Western North 1. 2 more new deaths were added up, bringing the death toll to 24, with 24 deaths among 5,530 cases. The death to positivity rate, which we term as the case fatality rate, stands at 0.43% for the country. The total number of recoveries have increased, and indeed we have done quite a significant number of people having done the first test, which is negative, and you are waiting for the second test to declare them fully recovered. And the total number of recoveries as at now stands at 674.
Dr. Bedusa Kodie there with the latest details. As I read to you some of your messages that are coming in on the situation, especially in Obuasi and coronavirus cases generally. This one says, I think that if the president wants to keep us safe from the outbreak of the pandemic, he should bring back the partial lockdown. You don't add your name to it. A.U. Farouk, Tamale North, says, it is alarming the way the COVID-19 cases are rising. Government must allow health experts to do their job. Hi, Gifty, I sincerely think it is time that Obuasi, Kumasi and Accra are locked down once more to help contain the virus. The campaign for no mask, no entry should be enforced strictly. This is coming from Akeli Vincent in Navrongo. Akeli, thank you for sending your message as well. This is from La Paz, Kwashi. Papi Kwashi, he says, please permit me to talk about the high testing approval and certification charges by the Food and Drugs Authority. That's the story we'll be doing subsequently. But a final one before we move on to the next story. This one says, Okay, let me just move on. Most of you are talking about the NDC's press conference that was held a while back. We'll come back to it. Right, this is my final one. Lockdown in any part of the country will be tantamount to waste of time and resources, because when a person contracts this, he or she can spread it to at least 100 people within a week. This shows that the disease is within the population. We're still on coronavirus cases though. Residents of Sunyani in the Bono region are calling for an enhanced security patrol of the Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire borders days after the region recorded its first coronavirus case, which was imported from the neighboring country, Ivory Coast. The people suggest that the use of the nose masks should also be made compulsory over there to limit the spread of the pandemic to other parts of the Bono region. Correspondent Anas Sabit has more in this report.
A few days ago, the Bono region recorded its first COVID-19 case. It was a Togolese national who got into the country through the German North district from La Côte d'Ivoire, who brought in this particular case. Now, days after the region recorded its first case, how are the people here reacting to the news of the first ever recorded case of COVID-19 here in the Bono region? We're speaking to some residents here to have their view on how they reacted to that particular news.
It was our prayer that we will not record a case here in the region, but a case has been imported and we were shocked at the news. We never heard of a case here, and so we were protecting ourselves. So when we heard of the new case here, we were really shocked.
With regards to the enforcement of the nose mask, a few others we've spotted on the streets are without the nose mask. The excuse being given from the people is that they complain that there's heat whenever they are on the nose mask, and others are also of the view that they find it difficult to breathe whenever they are on the nose mask. So the usage of the nose mask is not as expected here in Sunyani.
Those who are not using the mask say it is because of the heat, but for us as drivers, we make sure you have it on before we set off.
They say it's
hot and they cannot breathe too. But I'm pleading on everyone to have it on so we all protect ourselves.
The people we've been speaking with are suggesting that law enforcement agencies should enhance their enforcement of the use of the nose mask, as well as other directives related to the prevention of the COVID-19.
It will be very helpful when enforced, because those who do not put them on quickly wear them upon seeing the security forces or the military.
How about the Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire border? The people are of the view that border patrols should be enhanced to ensure that more cases are not imported into the country from neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire.
A lot of the people are around Bedukrom and Doma, and some of these people get into Doma through the bushes. So the border patrols should be enforced to keep that. I am pleading on authorities to check our borders. That is where the problem is, and when sealed, we won't record new cases.
Well, there are still some few others here in the Bono region who are still doubting the reality of the COVID-19 case. They are of the view that it is actually not real that we are recording cases here in the country.
I had a chat with some tenants in my house, and they were saying that it's never true that the COVID-19 is in the country. They say what's happening abroad are being shown on TV for us to see, but it's not seen here in the country. So until they see the dead on TV, they won't believe it. According to them, it's just a hoax.
From Sunyani here in the Bono region, I am Anas Sabit for JoyNews.
I'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back here on The Pulse. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. The Tourism Minister, Barbara Otinjesi, has been emphasizing directives to the effect that drinking bars and clubs remain closed. This follows an earlier statement from the Ghana Tourism Authority, which gave green light to drinking bars to operate alongside hotels and restaurants. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture overturned the Ghana Tourism Authority's directive earlier, and businesses within the hospitality industry were told not to resume operations. The statements by the GTA attracted a huge backlash from the public, including the clergy and lawyers who said the directive was inconsistent with the law. Here is a news desk report. At about 10 a.m. on Wednesday, a statement was issued. In a statement, the Ghana Tourism Authority said that food chains and restaurants can operate sit-downs and drinking bars can operate too. Virologists warned this was a risky decision.
We have to reverse this as quickly as possible. Many things are happening, so you don't want to have additional headache of having drinking spots, hotels and restaurants coming to add up to the already complicated situation we are in now.
But not everyone saw the danger, as virologists like Dr. Michael Owusu saw. The news brought inexplicable excitement to operators of drinking spots and restaurants. In fact, preparation for resumption of business was already underway. Listen to President of the Ghana Tourism Federation, Bella Ahu.
Since we were actually not expecting, some of the people are calling to be sure, and we are excited about it.
The group, calling itself Ghana Drunkards Association, also put in a word.
We appreciate the lift on the ban on alcohol, because myself as the president, I've been sick for the past 2 weeks because I've not been getting any drink to drink.
So now you're going to start drinking?
MFA, as I'm talking to you now, the moment the press release was out, I took thoughts of ginger to boost my immune system.
But that excitement would be short-lived. At about 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the Ministry of Tourism outlawed the Ghana Tourism Authority's directives with a circular stating,
drinking bars remain closed. All nightclubs remain closed. The public is to note that this circular supersedes the one issued by the regulator.
And that reversed the thread of excitement from the drinking sport operators to the virologist.
When I saw the circular, I was like, what is going on here? But then when I saw the second notice, I was like, oh, okay, so they've seen it, they've realized that this is a no-go area.
So, just in case you had any doubts or even planned a drink up, you cannot. You can only do so at home, because the drinking sports are to remain shut and restaurants are to operate takeout and deliveries only. Why don't we hear from the Minister, Barbara Otinjesi, now?
The Ghana Tourism Authority, per directives issued to the hospitality industry, inadvertently eased up the restrictions applicable to the industry by indicating that food chains and restaurants could operate sit-down services by observing social distancing protocols. It was also indicated that drinking bars could operate and also comply with social distancing protocols, but nightclubs would remain closed. However, we wish to clarify that further to the directive of His Excellency the President regarding the extension of the ban on public gatherings, the status quo remains the same, which means that bars, drinking bars and nightclubs remain closed. They cannot operate. Food chains and restaurants, including restaurants in hotels, can operate takeout and delivery services. This means that you can go to the food chain like Papaya or KFC, order your food and carry it away and have a meal in your home. Or you could go to a restaurant, order a meal and carry it away. On the other hand, you could also take advantage where they have delivery services to place a phone call, order your meal, and it will be delivered to you at home and you can enjoy your meal. So this is a clarification that we want to bring to the public and to the industry, and we hope that they'll ensure compliance with these clarifications.
Barbara Otinjesi. Meanwhile, the ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Kwabena Minta Akando, says the confusion with the opening of drinking bars is evident of government's poor management of the COVID-19 crisis, which it says has been inconsistent over the last few months.
Government is being inconsistent. Okay, And I think that for me, it's my humble opinion that it's a strategy by government probably to, as it were, gloss over a lot of issues. I believe that government was testing the waters. And so they used the authority to come out. And when they saw that Ghanaians were not happy about that particular directive, they used a superior authority to supersede, to give a directive that supersedes that of the GTA. And then why should this happen? And
for you, it's something fishy,
I believe so. I clearly believe so. Even that, why should this happen? And so far, what has been the explanation? The explanation is that a whole institution like GTA, Ghana Tourism Authority, misread the directives that were issued by the president. That directive that my grandmother in the village, who has been asked not to go to church, understood. That directive that my 6-year-old boy understood that he should not go to school. Those same directives, the whole authority says they don't understand. And it's more grievous if you even give this particular reason than what they have done. It means that they are doing worse things in their offices that we are not aware of.
Should heads roll?
Well, I believe that if it is not a strategy by government, and you see, I am very careful here because if heads roll, what happens to COVID-19? It is no solution to COVID-19. It is government that is being irresponsible. For me, if you sack the CEO for GTA, what have you achieved? You have not achieved anything. But it is government that must be responsible, that it must learn to be responsible, at least. Because we have had issues and you see government officials coming to defend. Were you not in this country when government came out to say that we have peaked? And look at the last time they said we had peaked and today. After the time they said we had peaked, we were around 4,000. Now we are more than 5,000. So who has come out to apologize? By now, in any, serious country, in any serious, government, they would have come out and say, oh, we are sorry, we got it wrong. But as I speak to you now, they are still struggling to give complex explanation to their gaffe. What it tells you is that government is deliberately hiding something from us as far as the management of this virus is concerned.
Kobna Mintak Kando speaks for the minority on health. The Ghana Maritime Authority is stepping up surveillance in the western region following a series of arrests of persons suspected to be engaged in illegal bunkering. These arrests were made during a routine patrol on the sea to check activities in the Takoradi area. The 8 are currently in the custody of Ghana Marine Police, while the wooden boat called Dende is at the anchorage at the Western Naval Command. Inathalia Kwanza has more in his report.
Wooden boat with a capacity of about 55,000 to 60,000 tons of oil was arrested Wednesday morning due to suspected illegal bunkering activities. The growing activities of these illegal boats, locally called Dende, is becoming a menace in the Takoradi area. Disguised as fishing boats, these massive wooden vessels with a storage capacity of tens of thousands of liters go to the high seas, mostly at night, where criminal tankers ship dock. Tons of fuel is pumped from the tankers into these wooden boats, which sail to different beaches and discharge their contents into waiting road fuel tankers like this on the blind side of tax and regulatory authorities. The head of the Ghana Maritime Authority at Takoradi is Captain William Thompson.
Early hours of this morning, just when we were running up our joint patrol team. Joint patrol team means Ghana Navy and then Marine Police and then GMA. We accosted, our boat accosted 8 people on this wooden boat that we normally call Dende, and it was nearly full with oil products. There are several dangers that are concerned in this thing. These boats are used for smuggling. They are not registered in any form, so it means we cannot even account for them. The product there definitely is stolen from somewhere. So the question is, where was it stolen from? Is it applicable for is it suitable for our local market? That's a question. If it is not, it means that it ends up in the pump stations, in your car and my car, and then they get destroyed. And we are talking about the environment as well. Because they are not properly registered and they are in a hurry just to make their money, they don't take any precautions, and then they end up messing up our environment. And illegal oil bunkering, I cannot give you an exact figure, but there are several. Only last week there was one, and I believe that earlier in this month there was another one. Last month we had like 4 other cases. They are all pending, and then the Marine Police is in charge, and people have been tried. I think you would not be far from the truth if you say since March we've had about 6 years, because definitely there are 4 that I can clearly recall, plus this one is 5, and then maybe I could miss out 1 or 2. Yeah, so you're not far from the truth.
Director Marine Police ACP Seidu Idis Lancer says the 8 will soon be arraigned before the court for the appropriate sanction.
At the same time, 8 persons that were operating it are at the Marine Police offices undergoing investigation. Yeah, their statements are being taken, and we will get to the whole bottom of it. But the exhibit is here. It talks for itself. This is an illegal activity that is being undertaken in our waters. Apart from the environmental aspect, they are also dodging the payment of duties.
Meanwhile, the GMA and Marine Police have handed over the oil to the National Petroleum Authority to check the quality of the oil, and the Ghana Revenue Authority to check the revenue lost to the country. For Joy News in Athalia Kwanza, Western Region.
I'll take you to Tema, where I was born. Well, the newly constructed Tema interchange will have traveling time for users within and without the Tema community when it is open to traffic on Saturday. The new road consists of 5 new interchanges linking Tema to Accra, Akosombo, Aplao, adjoining communities, and the Tema Harbour. The Ghana Highway Authority led media on a tour of the project where mop-up was being done towards the opening on Saturday. Speaking to JoyNews, the Ghana Highways Projects Coordinator, Engineer Roland Nikwe, said they're all good to go.
Currently, what is being done is tidying up, clearing of sweeping off dust and other things on the road, and then do a few slope grassing works and other things. But that will not impair the functionality of this intersection. It has greatly improved. Looking at it, to be practically less than a minute, you should navigate this intersection, and then you are off to wherever you are going. The commander of MTTD for Tema region, and they will be on standby on the Saturday of the when all the authorities and officials present to coordinate activities to ensure safely opening of the overpass to the general public.
Also, a guideline video to help motorists has been released by the Ghana Highways Authority.
Accra to Aflao. If you are driving from Accra towards Ada or Aflao, you are required to use one of the 2 inner lanes immediately after the pedestrian bridge and go straight through the underpass, which will be directly ahead of you. Tema to Accra. If you are driving from Tema towards Accra, you are required to use one of the 2 inner lanes after the slip roads and follow the left bend onto the ramp, then onto the motorway. Observe the traffic signals ahead of you on the ramp. Tema to Akosombo. If you are driving from Tema towards Ashaiman or Akosombo, you are required to use the main intersection at the top of the underpass. When you go past the pedestrian bridge and immediately after the first slip road, follow the road to the right towards Akosombo Road. Observe the traffic signals ahead of you on the slip road.
And I can't wait to have an experience. Of course, people will get lost, a bit, drive around a bit, but you get back and we'll get used to it. And I'm going to move on. But before that, this message, this texter says, "Hi, Gifty, did you say that Tema Interchange roundabout is about to be open for use? If yes, all thanks to His Excellency John Mahama, who secured the cash for the project. May Allah continue to bless him." On that note, Nanado's government must not take credit for it. In other words, they should not steal the project as their own. Papa Bisu from Accra sent that. But let me talk to you about fake news. Now, in times of crisis, it becomes a great time for fake news and propaganda. The more ridiculous the claim, the more traction it gains on social media. On today's episode of JoyNews' series titled Combating Fake News, we bring you the story of a 24-year-old who has been remanded pending trial for disseminating fake news on social media and inciting the public to commit crime. A report by Nicholas Ekoyamwa.
Corona is not killing Ghanaians, and it will not kill any Ghanaian. Why? Because they be amunum soboro. Miwa hibiscus. You're always drinking hibiscus flowers. That's soboro. Miwa ginger bebrebe amudiru, garlic bebrebe amudiru. Corona be any attack him. Pepper bebrebe amudi mudi ani amudi. Corona be any attack him.
That's 24-year-old Bless Ahmededbe making claims in a recorded video of himself inciting the public to defy the stay-home presidential directive aimed at halting the spread of coronavirus in Ghana. In the said video, which was made during Ghana's 3-week lockdown period, Bless claimed the directive to stay at home was a hoax and he planned to install 5G cables in the affected areas. Those 5G cables, he claimed, were meant to kill Ghanaians.
Tokro na ye tutu eden tokro. Wa dwe ka cho say e pipeline nso wa be fe mu bua. E 5G network. Unwa de na e 4, akubako 4 say. E no mo di shemu me bua. So that is 5G network. Eno e na e ku nkrofo no corona nko obi a.
Bless Ahmededbe was also seen in the video inciting the public to rise up against national authority.
Munjin Ghana for munjin. Me see muntisi krom mu amwodro munkoji edo no nhye police ni buwa bonfi otuwetu adoje no na bumi na kuno because Nana Akufo-Addo onim de oye obeso okuye nyina ye mani nyina bewu mun bie mu enim 5G no eno na Akufo China eno na Akufo America.
The claims Bless make in this video are untrue. Ghana Health Service statistics show coronavirus has killed 24 Ghanaians. It has been scientifically proven that 5,408 have been infected so far. Statistics from several sources, including the World Health Organization, show that coronavirus has killed 297,003 people across the world. The actions he's inciting people to take are also criminal. All over the world, it is not uncommon to see such videos largely full of untruths and misinformation with the potential of swaying minds and impacting behaviors negatively. Well, whilst many feel invincible on social media, Bless was struck down by the national security operatives who came across the video. He was arrested on Tuesday, charged with false communication and assault on public officer contrary to Electronic Communications and Criminal and Other Offences Act. He was put before the Accra Circuit Court 4 and remanded. Bless Ahmededbe has been explaining his actions after his remand. He claims the video was meant for a skit on his personal YouTube channel but went viral.
The motive behind the video actually, because that is not even the video I was coming to do, but that is the acting part of it. What is on the net. So I just tried to let them go off it like that is not the right way, but I have to do it in a funny way. That was my motive because I just want my channel to also blow. I pick all those informations so that after doing the first video, which is out right now, after doing it, then I'll now edit, just like how Teacher Kojo does this one. It is something new that I'm doing. The channel is even new. My channel is a new channel. I don't have subscribers. So that was what I did. Because even on my channel, I know it will never go viral because it's a new channel, no subscribers. I don't have likes. The highest I had was 4.
The Mamobi-based private security guard says he regrets his action and has an advice for people who spread fake news and misinformation, especially in these times of global health crisis.
The only thing I'll tell anybody who wants to, first of all, venture into YouTube and all those things, right now, what I regret is what I used to advise. I get it. I wish I had waited to get enough money to get all the assets I needed. But I did a mistake. That's why the whole editing was not out before the video itself is going. That's my mistake. That was a silly thing I did, and I regret it so much. I wish the video never went viral.
The court presided over by His Honor M.E. Isando has adjourned the case to 22nd of May 2020. On that day, Bless Amedebe will know his fate, but he will spend the next 9 days and nights behind bars, and no one knows whether the court's decision will keep him there any longer. The claims Bless makes are untrue, and it took a simple click of buttons on his phone. But remember, a click on your mobile phone to spread false news can always be avoided, and so will time behind bars. The WHO says the world is not only fighting a pandemic, but infodemic, which can equally be fatal. Do not be the one to spread misinformation. Most importantly, do not feel invincible. If you spread fake news, you can be tracked down.
The JoyNews Combat Fake News Project, clearing the blurry lines between fake news and the news.
Do not be the one that's behind bars. Think carefully before you click on that button and say things that are untrue. Now, the World Health Organization has elevated the regulatory status of Ghana's Food and Drugs Authority to level 3, the second highest in the 4-tiered classification. Ghana becomes only the second country in Africa after Tanzania to attain that level 3 status. WHO Country Director Dr. Nima Kimambo announced the elevation at a brief ceremony in Accra today, where letters confirming the reclassification were presented to Ghana's FDA through the Health Ministry.
I deem it a great honor to be part of this memorable occasion and to make a few remarks on the official announcement of Ghana FDA's achievement of regulatory maturity level 3. There are 4 levels of regulatory systems maturity, starting from level 1, where only some elements of regulation exist, and up to 4 corresponding to the advanced regulatory system. The level 3 indicates that the system is well functioning and integrates all required elements to guarantee its stable performance. Benchmarking of medicines regulatory system is part of the WHO program for regulatory system strengthening. It identifies strengths as well as areas for improvement, after which a plan that is called an institutional development plan is developed, building on strengths and addressing areas for improvement. Evaluations of Ghana Food and Drugs Authority, the national regulatory body for medicines, was carried out starting in 2014, 2015, and later in 2019 using the WHO Global Benchmarking Tool. WHO, after doing this exercise, provides technical support in the implementation of the institutional development plan, followed by continuing monitoring progress and outcome as well as impact. So following these procedures, as has been said by the CEO, Ghana becomes the second country in the WHO African region to attain regulatory system maturity level 3. The second highest in the 4-tiered WHO classification of national medicines regulatory systems.
Health Minister Kweku Agyeman praised the FDA for its hard work in attaining that significant feat.
Let me first of all congratulate the board chair, FDA CEO, and your team and the entire FDA setup for this achievement. I wouldn't use the word miraculous because you worked for it. It is not a miracle. You planned, strategically implemented your plans, and got where you are. Government support in terms of investment had come. And when you invest and you don't get equal rewards, or a reward that is even bigger than the investment that you have made, we call it a loss in business. This time around, FDA, you didn't cause us any loss. You have given us value that to transcend across Africa, not only in country here. You know, Ghanaians, what we have and is good, we don't talk about. But when it is bad, we criticize so much. I believe this achievement will be celebrated, not only within the walls of FDA and the ministry, but in the public domain, to continue to ginger confidence in the regulatory system that we have for medicines and vaccines, at least. That is what the benchmark sought to do. And if we are second in Africa, it means we have made a very huge success.
FDA Chief Executive Delise Mimi Dakon said the FDA has already set its sights on attaining level 4 regulator status.
This process started in March 2019, and it took us 1 year to get to where we are. Ghana FDA has over the years strived to attain the highest quality standards by making positive changes to improve our regulatory systems and services. And so we agreed that benchmarking against ourselves was not what we wanted to do, but we wanted to be benchmarked against the world, not just Africa, but the world. And that was only to ensure that as an agency, we are comparable to the most effective and the best regulators in the whole world. Having a strong and effective regulatory system plays an important role in assuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of medicines and all medical products in any jurisdiction, not just Ghana. So why should the FDA be different? And so we benchmarked with the best of the best, and we have done and made top marks today. This was not just a one-day achievement, and it will not be a one-day result. We are going to ensure that we take the benchmarking from today until the rest of the time. This benchmarking will also better equip the FDA to play its key role in promoting development of both the local industry, both orthodox and traditional medicine industry. And also, by doing so, we do that when we have oversight and when we support the industry to produce the best quality medicines that can contribute to improving the health and saving lives, being assured of the right quality. We will keep working hard to continuously improve our systems and services and our products, not just as a country, but within the Africa Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Initiative, which seeks to promote health and improve health and to support the success of health through good quality and efficacious medicines. We are proud to be the second country in Africa to achieve this status, and probably the 50th or 51st in the world.
Congratulations to Ghana, and hopefully we get ahead the better way. Congratulations to Ghana, and hopefully we get ahead the better way. And we're told of an NPP press conference that's coming up shortly. We'll be crossing over as and when it is ready. But an engineer and CEO of the Obokom Civil Engineering Limited, Nana Obokomata IV, says he has started the process to auction a 6-story multi-purpose lecture theatre and some properties owned by the McCarthy Hill campus of the Regent University College. At a press briefing here in Accra, he stated that his action has become necessary after many attempts to get the school authorities to pay monies owed him for constructing the structure. On Wednesday, 13th May 2020, a bailiff from the Commercial Court, Accra, served the school notice for the auction of its movable and immovable properties to defray a debt that's owed them. There's more in this report.
We enter into a contract with Regent University to build this edifice for them. And we duly did what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to build this edifice and give them 1 year grace period, which we did. So they were supposed to pay us 17th April 2018. And immediate the time due, we requested for payment because we follow up with them to give us payment as the project was ongoing. But the Chancellor has told us that immediately we finish the project, we are going to be paid. Mind you, the amount involved $1.2 million and 2.1 million Ghana cedis is quite a huge amount. So the commitment that we made. So we thought we could achieve the payment immediately after the grace period is over.
Unfortunately, that thing didn't come on. So as we keep on pushing for the payment, we saw that the university is not ready to pay.
We've had to cut through that story. We need to go right now to the NPP headquarters where Peter McMeno is addressing the media at the moment. He's just been appointed the party's manager, campaign manager for the 2020 elections. We can go over now.
He's so determined to protect it from being replaced. What is in that register and the voter management system, VMS, that the NDC is threatening civil war if it is changed for a better one? Why is the NDC placing its entire electoral fortunes on that controversial register, which was compiled under their term in office? Please remember that this is the first time ever that any opposition party in Ghana has complained, and complained so loudly, against the compilation of a new voters register. Under President Rawlings, the EC compiled a new register, and the NPP in opposition supported it. Under President Kufuor, the EC compiled a new register, and the NDC then, under John Atta Mills, did not complain. In 2012, under President John Atta Mills, the EC set out to compile a new register, and the NPP did not only welcome it, we were constructive in pushing for futures to enhance its credibility. It is that same register that the Supreme Court ruled that it was wrong for the EC to accept the National Health Insurance Card as an ID source for registration in 2012. We set out in opposition to campaign for that discredited register to be changed. The NDC in government opposed our campaign. It was not done, you all know. But we did what any responsible political party must do. We organized ourselves and prosecuted our campaign, and the people of Ghana gave us the highest number of parliamentarians and the highest margin of nearly 1 million votes in the presidential elections. Our focus since then has been to justify the confidence that the Ghanaian people reposed in us by fixing the economy that the NDC rigged, and with Akufo-Addo giving the people the caring and decisive leadership which John Mahama is not capable of delivering. The NDC national chairman said this afternoon that the MPP set out to rig the 2020 general elections immediately we took office in 2017. Well, Ghanaians know better. The focus of President Akufo-Addo and his government upon assuming office was to fix the economy that President John Mahama and his NDC rigged in their 8 years in office. It remains our focus to manage the crisis caused by COVID-19 in a way that the Ghanaian economy and society will come out of this crisis stronger and more united. The plan of NDC is nothing more than to fabricate grounds for chaos, disunity, and fear. They are doing this because they do not have a good candidate and a good story to tell the voters in December. It is on record. It is that record of a rigged leadership under John Dramani Mahama that the NDC must be afraid of bringing back to face the Ghanaian people for their votes, and not the fake conspiracy to rig elections against them. NDC must be reminded that the MPP as an opposition party, beat the NDC in 2016, and by the largest margin ever in Ghana's history against an incumbent president in Ghana's history. It is not the fault of any Ghanaian that the NDC chose to bring back as their presidential candidate for 2020 the very man whose hands the NDC suffered their biggest defeat in history. It is not the fault of MPP that the NDC chose to bring back as their 2020 presidential candidate the very same man who gave Ghana the worst economic growth performance since 1994. It is not the fault of President Akufo-Addo that the NDC has very little confidence in their own chosen candidate for the 2020 elections in the person of John Mahama. We do not need the EC to rig an election in our favor. A government that has put 1.3 million children to school, who, if NDC was in power, would be on the streets, does not need an election to be rigged in its favor. A government that has restored industry and is creating jobs for the people does not need an election to be rigged in its favor. A government that has put 100,000 unemployed graduates to work does not need an election to be rigged in its favor. A government that has put the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian first, whether it is protecting money of millions of depositors or absorbing the cost of electricity and water of 30 million Ghanaians to ease the suffering of the people when there is a crisis, such a government does not need an election to be rigged in its favor. The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, continues to show leadership and commitment to the welfare of ordinary Ghanaians, and it is this which gives us the confidence that the Ghanaian people will recognize his leadership and performance and allow the party that knows how to deliver to continue. We intend to fight and win in December based on our performance. Let me repeat. Ghanaians must find out why the NDC is so against the compilation of a new register which promises enhanced security features such as facial recognition. What is it about the 2012 register and the voter management system that the NDC holds so secret? What is it about the 2012 register and the voter management system that the NDC claims if it is replaced, they will never win an election? In what way did they tie their electoral fortunes to the maintenance of a discredited register and system? They ought to tell us what is it about the 2012 register that the NDC claims they are prepared to foment trouble if it is replaced. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, Ghana, since the establishment of the Fourth Republic, has had registers compiled at various stages of our journey towards perfecting our democracy. 1992, 1996, 2004, and 2012. So basically, we have had new registers compiled every 8 years since 1996. And for each of those exercises, the idea has been to introduce features that are better than the previous one, with a view to secure the sanctity of the register. So why is the NDC afraid of an improvement in the security and soundness of the register and the voter management system? We have elections in December, and as President Akufo-Addo has made it clear that the election must and will be held as scheduled as far as the government is concerned. The MPP is not afraid to face the electorate. Assuming, for the sake of argument, that the coronavirus is still with us, like now in 7 months' time, and that is a possibility, will the NDC be against the holding of an elections? There are some over 1 million odd young people who have attained the age of 18 since last year. They have a right to be registered, and so the EC will register them. How is this registration going to be done? Or is the NDC suggesting that we disenfranchise all these people? The EC has a mandate to conduct elections in December. The NDC should be constructive in discussing how at least the over 1 million Ghanaians who will be old enough to register to vote this year will be done, even under this period of social distancing. It is important that we support the EC in all the processes that will lead to delivering free, fair, and credible elections. Not only is the NDC against the compilation of a new register, they are similarly against the issuance of national identity cards. They tried in 8 years to issue a national ID, but were not competent enough to get it done. The NDC could not issue a single card in their 8 years when they were in office. The benefits of having a national ID are varied and far-reaching. In South Korea and Mauritius, for example, where citizens and foreign residents are properly documented, national IDs have helped to curb the spread of the coronavirus disease. For instance, in the course of its 6 weeks lockdown in Mauritius, residents have been permitted to go out for basic necessities according to the alphabetical order of their surnames. Currently, there are no active cases in Mauritius. Such an innovation will be difficult to implement in Ghana without proper citizen and resident identification. Everyone knows who lives in their homes. We can identify them. Parents can identify their children and wards by name and face. Every entrepreneur knows who works in their company. If it's a big organization, they provide them with ID cards. Even the NDC has an ID card for their members. So why is NDC so against a project that seeks to do for all our citizens and residents what the NDC has done for its members? So why is the NDC against a national project that seeks to do what the NDC has done for itself? We understand and appreciate that there are potential risks associated with bringing people together to register for the national ID. The MPP would like to encourage the NIA to share with the public their coronavirus risk mitigation strategies. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we call on the NDC to face up to the realities of the time and convince the Ghanaian people why they must bring an inept, clueless, and incompetent Mahama back to power after he ran down the country in the manner that he did. We didn't elect their flag bearer for them. They elected him. If they find that he is an albatross around their neck, they should not be making excuses way ahead of the election in order to justify his loss in December, which is inevitable. We will end by saying that we support the compilation of a new register, but we'll leave the decision to the Electoral Commission to make. However, with or without a new register, the New Patriotic Party is prepared to campaign and win the endorsement of the overwhelming majority of Ghanaian people once again in the next polls, based purely on what we are delivering to protect and improve the lives of the people in every corner of the country. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. Thank you.
These are live pictures coming to you from the New Patriotic Party's headquarters, a press conference that they just addressed. At the moment, it is Peter McMahon, who is the party's campaign manager there, who addressed. There you see he's flanked by some of the officials of the NPP. Essentially, they are responding to the press conference held earlier by the NDC, and they are asking a question, which, as they put it, why is the NDC afraid of a new voters register? They're about to take some questions. We'll go over there and take that answer from him as well. But he talks about how the voters register at the moment is credible, but the NPP does not need, the fact that the NPP does not need an election to be rigged in its favor, and the fact that they intend to fight and win the elections. Let's go back to him right now.
Any Electoral Commission, any National Identification Authority, abo epo a yedi be wia abanum ewo December 2020. Na omode sa asem no abefra ye no. E wo se yeyi ano. Sebe eye National Identification Electoral Commission there. Omanya omasema, omwa enyi omano. Na yen eni yewura na nado danko akufo adodin ebe mu ne de ye ho akwanya se ebe ya no na enchesemu bia wo ho a ye da na di ye pese Ghana fo nyina nya ntiase se MPP any president na nado danko akufo ado ye ni National Identification Authority any Electoral Commission emo epobia bebia ye no mu hia bebia emo pobia seti bia no e abato ene yekoto December na ye dwuma pa a na nado danko akufo ado aban aye no yare kesie ya afa ewiase afa na nya so baaye anusie kese a dwumadie kese a waya fa ho eno na Ghana fo behwe ede ato apa na se yen ni obi ko botrimpo ede awia bamu de eni yensunsunso omo se register no ena omo ntiase se Electoral Commission eye fofo sebe enye register nkwa na Electoral Commission omo ye register any voter management system. Say register no ye kata na obi amfoni no so na ansa na emeda ne samfoni no omo system a wo district electoral commission offices bia computer any satellite dish obo se kakaka esi district electoral commission office bia eno na de obi a yaje ne ho emfonini ene ne fingerprint no eba electoral commission sa mfidie ni nya no asai enu nti se mo be kai a emre bi atwa mu kakra 2019 yewura a oye mrashe bedwani wo Elemble constituency a ye frɛ no Amakofiboa o kanede se o the Electoral Commission be court if you say the person asofo registration mo ye na etwitwa o mo mfoni wo Elemble no edinu bedru nkran no system no a make no entimi amfa o mo mfoni eni o mo nsa no eni wo mo di no ama enti ade no system no so asay enti entimi deliver a credible register na Electoral Commission say obesesa ye mom de e free titinya mo nsentwefo mo busada bi say start the register for enye ne A statica say per register for former maybe a tremu, Yeraba a Charlotte Secretary Committee Bia, Yera a VCRAC crap, and then a Danwa, Omoye Pensim Muse, Yintia. Also new register eba na say ni seba omo the recommendations be by bitch say omo nye the willingness to clean the register na register no kwa no ajiegu ni nya no omo anye. That was under Madam Charlotte say na me kai say that time no for me na me kokasa wo Alisa Hotel ma New Patriotic Party. I know Busam say, and he I register for Mr. McMahon over Eden.
Mr. McMahon there translating all that he has said earlier in Chi. He essentially says that they want the people of Ghana to know that the NPP and Nana Akufo-Addo, the president, do not have any plans to collaborate with the NIA and the Electoral Commission to rig elections, as has been alleged by the NDC. He goes on to say that the Electoral Commission itself has systems to make the process of a new register free and fair, and he talks about the fact that the NPP does not intend to rig elections, but that the NPP wants an election to be held. He says that the creation of a new register is to ensure that there is a build-up of security features periodically, and the NDC must come again, essentially the point that he's been making. But unfortunately, this is where how much time will allow us to bring to you at this hour. Get on to myjoyonline.com where there is more news and information. My name is Gifty Ando Up.